Now let's get to the eye of the needle for a moment. Because, as I say, this is one of the stumbling blocks to people when it comes to this business of prosperity. Well, Jesus said that it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. Well, first of all, the eye of the needle was a gate, a small gate into the city of Jerusalem. You know, at night and certain times they had to close the big gate. But if somebody somehow or the other happened to get locked out of the gate, there was a small gate, and it was so small it was called the eye of the needle. And only a man could go through that gate, but he had to go through without his possessions. He couldn't take anything else with him. What is that trying to show us? That if we want to enter spiritual understanding, we have to lay aside all of our material opinions. Yes. Isn't that interesting? If he had his camel, he had to leave his camel. And I had the thrill. It was really a surprise, you know. We were up on Mount Zion, and Xavier and Terry were with me. And they had this camel up there, you know, that you could get on and ride a few steps on. And before I knew it, they had me up on that camel. But that particular gate was so small, they called it the eye of the needle. And if you got locked out of the city, you could go in alone. But if you had anything on that camel, any goods or anything else, you couldn't take it with you. And again, as I say, what does that tell us? You cannot take the traditions of men. You cannot take a wrong love of material things with you into the kingdom of heaven. You have to leave them outside. The eye of the needle was a narrow entrance through the city wall where only a man could enter without his possessions. This tells us that a mind must be stripped of all of his possessions of worldly material opinions and traditions to enter the realm of spiritual understanding, the kingdom of heaven. Only a poor mind can enter the kingdom, meaning a mind stripped of all its worldly values. Now, I want you to take the word poor and see how it's being used in a positive sense. Most of the time, the word poor is used how? In a negative sense. But remember what I told you at the beginning of the lesson? The same word, depending on its position and how it is used, can mean an opposite thing. So, you must become poor in the opinions of men. Your mind must be stripped of worldly values before you can enter the kingdom of heaven. A mind stripped bare of all belief in the power of causation of materiality, externality, is truly poor in spirit, and therein is the kingdom of heaven. Now, there's something here that's subtle that I want you to underline. I want you to underline belief in the power of causation of materiality. That's right at the bottom of your lesson sheet on page 1, the second from the bottom line. And I want you to underline these words, and I want you to repeat them after me. Belief in the power of causation of materiality.
Belief in the power of causation of materiality.
I want you to say that again, and we're going to say this a total of 3 times because this is very important. I'm going to explain it to you again and again and again, and it's going to set you free. Belief in the power of causation of materiality. The second time.
Belief in the power of causation of materiality.
Say it the third time.
Belief in the power of causation of materiality.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the mind must be stripped bare of. What does that mean? Material things don't cause anything. Only thought causes anything. I'm going to shout that at you, and I want you to shout it back at me as I shall pause. If you ever once get this, then you will be done with the tyranny of materiality. So shout back at me as I shall pause. Material things don't cause anything.
Material things don't cause anything.
Only thought causes anything.
Only thought causes anything.
Material things don't have any power.
Material things don't have any power.
Only thought has power.
Only thought has power.
God, if we could get that. As a man thinks, so is he. Together, as a man thinks, so is he. And as long as the mind, a man thinks cancerous thoughts, he will cause cancer. That's why around here sometimes, you have to stick around here for a while to find out what we're about. Now, I believe in healing. Sometimes when I go on television shows, they say to me, well, Reverend Ike, you don't do faith healing anymore. I says, yes, I do that too. But I found out something else. It's not enough just to try to help people get healed after they get sick. You have got to teach people a healthy way of living. And a healthy way of living requires a healthy way of thinking. And that's why I'm doing all of this teaching. So say with me, a healthy way of living requires a healthy way of thinking. There is no cause in material things. Say that. Oh, it's so beautiful in the Bible. God reveals itself as thought or as thinking and simply says, I am God, and beside me there is none else. Say that.
I am God, and besides me there is none else.
And it could very easily be said, I am cause, and beside me there is no cause. Say it. And as I say again, this is God revealing itself as thought, as thinking. Oh, the beautiful formula that Paul gives us in Romans, the 12th chapter. If there's anything in your life that you don't like, anything in your life that you want to change, the formula is, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. Come on, let's hear it. I want everybody to stand up and shout that. Come on, stand up and shout it. Shout it again while you're standing up. Come on.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
All right, you may be seated. You're a good class today. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I see people here in the special healing section, and I'm going to come over there and I'm going to lay my hands on you before you go home today. But I want you to understand that good health is a way of thinking. Say that.
Good health is a way of thinking.
And it's not enough for you to just wait until you get sick and broken down. You've got to practice thinking like God thinks every day. The battle in this world is really not a battle of bombs and guns. The battle in this world is really a battle for the mind. And whatever gets your mind gets you. And whatever you get in your mind, you'll get. If you get good health in your mind, you will cause good health. If you get love in your mind, you will bring love into your life. If you get the joy of the Lord in your heart, you will bring joy into your life. Being prosperous is a way of thinking. Everything is a way of thinking. Say that.
Everything is a way of thinking.
Please, in caps, put that simple statement on the green board here. Everything is a way of thinking. I don't care what you need. I don't care what you want. I don't care what your problem is. It doesn't make any difference what your trouble is. Everything is a way of thinking. And if you don't like the way things are, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. A metanoia, which is repent. On the day of Pentecost, the first sermon ever preached in the Christian church, they said to the apostles, men and brethren, what must we do to be saved? And what did they say? Repent. It's the first thing you got to do. Repent. What does it mean? Change your mind. Think again. Think a new thought. Metanoia. And you've got to do it every day. And don't wait. You know what? Some people use God and religion as just an emergency measure. I want you people to know if you're in an emergency, I'll pray for you. I'll help you. But what I'd rather do is keep you out of those emergencies. I mean, Christianity is about living. What did the Master Jesus say? I have come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. You know, living is just not a matter of getting from one emergency to another. Living is just not a matter of going through hell trying to get to heaven. But I have come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. Isn't that wonderful? Let me hear you say, that's Christianity. Say it again. And that's what we've got to learn to do.